Thanks for tuning in.
And away we go. Gold medal match of the Tepic Elite 16. Sweden and Brazil. And there is David Allman just flying to different airspaces that most people can enjoy.
Oh, a little tempo jump set. How about this poke over? And Andre's not there because it's too fast. You just can't be there in time to get the block that you want.
And that is a huge move outside the body from Jonathan Hellvig. Brilliant block.
Holy smokes. Starting this match off, Hellvig. Waiting. Very last second. Oh, you're swinging line? Not today.
Tremendous move by the blocker, who plays well bigger than the 6'3" listing. And that is tremendous touch from Andre.
Nice soft shot. Doesn't want to get blocked again. Just over the top. And 6'3". Holy smokes. I better hit the gym. Jonathan Hellvig putting on the boosties.
You say you better hit the gym. I say better retire and never play him. Work smarter, not harder,
Work
Kyle.
smarter. Nice option there from Brazil. Or excuse me, from Sweden.
That's our first look at the option attack. We will see that in abundance from Sweden. Service pressure stays on Andre. And there's another huge block from Jonathan Hellvig, making his presence felt early.
Man, oh man. Just a strong hands up at the net there. Both hands pressing, no movement. That's just right into the palm. Exquisite technique there from Hellvig.
Excellent pass from Andre. And back into the angle he goes. Good move from Hellvig. Better swing from Andre.
Yeah, there's that swing that we know all too well from Andre Loyola. A little wrap, a little quick arm there, a little inside out as he goes to the angle swing.
And George has been breaking out a short jump serve that has been devastating. And speak of the devil, and there it is. But it is going to be a risky one against this team. Gets the ball up and still gets the point. Now, why it's risky is because Hellvig can shovel that option pass all the way over, but George, as we mentioned, so still, so patient in defense, makes the play, and then Andre gets his first block.
A little too tight there from Hellvig. But yeah, like you said, risk reward for that short serve, George. One of the best jump servers we have in the world. The variety of serves, we've been seeing him use that short serve. But is that the best strategy against this team? We'll see.
Back to the short jumpy he goes. And another option from Allman. This one goes long. So the option now handled twice in a row from Brazil.
Everything looking good, though, from Sweden on that play. It's a perfect little push, option pass, just a miss hit there from Allman.
And I love the courage of Allman. Options twice, neither of them works. Well, I'm going to option a third time.
Yeah, that's just years of reps. They've been jump setting since they started playing on the World Tour. I mean, they're 7 seasons in now, 22 years young. They've been playing for a long time.
George now getting his first work in serve receive, and that is just, put that in a museum, that high line.
Just over you, he says. I see your defense. Everything going on over there, not a problem. Flick of the wrist into the corner.
Making 4 straight options for David Allman. Perfect kill into the corner.
And that's exactly how they want to run their offense. They'll option you to death. Until you start going over there and fronting that option, nothing will change here for Sweden.
It was a good-looking serve, just carried long. And Kyle, you played indoors. How much does it change playing indoors? These air pockets, you never know when it's going to sink or just stay tall.
It seems counterintuitive that the ball would move more inside, but it's exactly what it does. Maybe a bit more pressure on the indoor arenas, some dead air space, like you said, and these balls just float all over the place.
And there is Andre getting involved early. And George, he's been going short serve, and then hits a banger to the sideline, creating a tough pass and a tough set.
And you just look at that press, Travis. Unbelievable. I don't even know if David was able to get a hand on it before Andre came over.
Oman slinging it, and Andre just not quite in balance enough. Was a nice job just getting a hand on it, but couldn't get a full block.
Oh, I was going to say, it's really nice footwork there from Andre to be in a good spot, getting both hands, just kind of ricochets through. And that's the advantage of the jump set. As you see the Swedish coach there watching on, he's created quite the monster in this Swedish duo.
Good old Rasmus Johnson, the brains behind this machine that is the Swedish jump setters. Excellent swing from George Wanderley, just so smooth inside out.
Yeah, when you're serving this Brazil squad, it's almost like pick your poison, because they both are so lethal on the side out in their own respective manners. It's just kind of what you want to take away and what advantage you can use on your side of the court.
And David Allman is just fearless with the option. And George, to his credit, was in the right position, but that is some serious gas.
And it's gas reverse flow, right? And that's what he does better than anyone else in the world, is that option from the right side back to the line. He can generate so much power. He rotates and he cranks, just like we saw there.
Delayed angle blocks are the call for Hellvig. We'll see if it changes. Just switching to a basic line block. Excellent fill into the seam from Oman. Nice reach from Andre. And then just such a smart, smooth shot from Andre off the soft block.
Good control from George Wanderley as well. Here's the touch. Look how he works. That's efficient footwork as blockers. You get the touch. You work to get off 2-3 feet best you can. Boom, back into the court, finding the space and the kill.
Georgia's serve has been the source of nearly all of Brazil's points. And that's just such a smooth option swing. My goodness.
I think that's one area this Swedish team has improved, if it's even possible that it can improve. But Jonathan Hellvig's options have more pace on them, I think, in these last 6 months than they've been having. And granted, they're 22 years young. They're getting bigger. They're getting stronger. And so that's part of their growth.
Excellent dig from Oman. Can't control it, but still just good enough to keep it up. And then producing the second opportunity. George missing that one wide. And that's the first crack we've seen from George.
How did David Oman get that ball up? It was into the sand pretty much. Somehow scoops, and then a rare error from George.
Andre now going angle, finding the deep line. I love Oman's reactions, as if he should have dug that.
I don't know how you're supposed to dig that one. You're in the pocket into the angle. That one's deep, high over your blocker, perhaps. On the back end line. You can't just stay playing defense at the back end line, that's for sure.
And now we'll go into the technical timeout. Sweden leading 11-10. And we say fairly often, Kyle, that as a defender, when you try to take everything, you end up taking nothing. The one defender, I think, who could actually take everything is David Oman.
I believe it. I believe it. I've seen it firsthand. He's faster in person. You know, I just love watching these guys play volleyball. He's so dynamic. Just when you think that ball's out of reach, he takes one extra step. He crawls 2 extra feet to get the dig.
And as you mentioned, it's one thing to watch them here on VBTV. It's an entirely different animal when you see it in person and when you can see the speed and you can see just the high difficulty and precision required for them to do what they do. I cannot recommend it enough that if you're watching on VBTV, get out to the Brasilia Elite 16, get out to Espinho, get out to Ostrava, get out to Stade, Vienna, Paris, wherever it may be, just to experience watching these kids in person, because it's like nothing this sport has ever seen.
Yeah, it's a treat, and we are fortunate to be in their era right now.
Excellent up from Oman. And there's a little jump set from Andre. They're breaking out the tricks too, and the block from Jonathan Hellvig goes down.
Unreal block from Hellvig. He shuffles over, doesn't commit, and then just presses over. He stays clean. Those long arms of the block. Impressive from Sweden.
Just gets so far over the net, does the 22-year-old Hellvig. Excellent touch from Andre, and even that one, Oman still almost gets a dig.
I was gonna say, Travis. Oh, he's not even close. Oh, he is close. He is close to that one as he goes to run, and he's just centimeters away from collecting that dig.
And what's so remarkable to me about Oman, among a laundry list of things that we don't have nearly enough time to get to, is how low he stays on defense, where he's always just, it looks like he's crawling. And George Wando, this serve, you know, I thought that he was just hot in the qualifier when he was serving like this, but he has sustained it for an entire tournament. A wicked angle-to-angle serve.
It's just like how he hits his shots. He finishes high, but it's all the wrist snap, and he puts that extra pop with that high wrist. Wild serve from George.
Excellent patience in the pocket from George. The more opportunities he gets like that, the more digs he's going to make. That one just gets away from him.
Yeah, he's going to touch more. He'll get a few more digs. Sweden up 1.
And that is just an incredibly smart shot from Andre.
Good change of speed from Andre. We're used to seeing the heat. This time, he goes with the cut.
A well-struck short serve. And what are you supposed to do on that? That's a ridiculous short serve. And then Sweden just says, oh, thank you, I'll have this on two.
And it's not like the on-two pass is so high that it gives Hellvig a ton of time to swing. No, it's quick. It's shooty. He's got to be quick with his feet, quick with his arm. Not a problem for Sweden. Unbelievable.
Line blocks are the call for Sweden. Oh, excellent footwork from Hellvig. Made that big step outside to get in front of Andre, but Andre's just so physical.
Yeah, Andre. High heat off the hands of Hellvig. Like you said, good footwork there from Hellvig, but advantage offense.
And George misses his first jump serve of the match, which is a extraordinary thing given how aggressively he's been serving.
Aggressive on the short serves, aggressive with the angle line, catching that sideline, so okay for a miss.
Beautifully done from Andre, mixing up the speeds very well.
Nice soft touch there from Andre. Sharp cut, too. Come on, not even able to get a hand on it.
He's never far, though, is he? Even when you hit a perfect shot, Oman is just a finger length away. And a perfect smart cut shot from Oman.
And those are the plays that You just have to walk back to side out. Nothing you can do because it looks like he's coming in there to just unload on the ball. And then at the very last second, just beautiful stuff.
Excellent serve. Better pass from George. And George hits that cut shot under the net. That is an astonishing error from George.
Ooh, definitely a big miss hit. We don't see that very often from George Wanderlei. Controlled that really hard serve really well. And now Brazil going to take a timeout and down 2.
One of the elements you mentioned about the Swedish team you've seen a development in, and I couldn't agree more, is the extra power on Hellvig's options. But conversely, I think there's been a development with hman's options in that he has taken some power off and has just been a little bit more careful and smarter.
Agreed completely. You know, when you're so athletic and you can score points just hammering the ball, it's hard to go away from that because you've had so much success. And we're seeing the evolution of this team, this Swedish squad, and that's 100% correct. I couldn't agree more, Travis. Is the creativity now and the options from hman. He's not looking for that 2-meter bounce cross court. He's, oh, I'm just going to cut this here. I don't need to swing, and I can still score.
They just have such a wide variety of manners in which they can score, manners in which they can earn points. And we're just seeing that pressure start to add up here for Brazil. Pressure now switching over to George. What patience that is in the pocket from hman. And that is a brilliant swing off the top of the block of Andre.
He digs it, he waits, he takes that breath before approaching again. It's such a tempting thing to dig and run towards that, especially when you're running tempo in transition. Not the case for David hman.
Biggest lead of the match now for Sweden. Oh, the double up into the line goes off the hands of Hellvig. Unfortunate break for Sweden. As hman, knowing him, he probably would have handset that high line had he had the chance.
I was thinking, why is he not playing this ball? But it's just out of reach. Off the hands, a small touch from Hellvig, pushing that one long. There it goes. Out of reach.
And no argument on we'll call that a bit of a choppy set from David hman, but he was square to his target. Brazil not going to argue it, so savvy play from hman.
Again, another wrinkle being put into their gameplay, and I haven't seen too many of those jump set overs be called. It's sometimes questionable if they take off with the shoulder square or not, Travis.
We've seen that. I've seen him do that once so far this tournament. Went uncalled, and there's nothing to argue about that from Jonathan Hellvig. Make it block number 3. And this is just what Sweden does, Kyle. They just, it hasn't been a huge run. It's just been the pressure and the pressure and the pressure, and then they get 2 in a row. They side out, and here they are up 4. Seem like they've been dominating. That's an excellent little chisel swing from George.
Yeah, it's hard to put in words the pressure that Sweden puts on you constantly with their offense and then also with the defense and the blocking right now of Hellvig. Not alone having to worry about, you know, hman in the back trying to dig balls.
And oh my gosh. You know, Kyle, you should take the time in this timeout to pop the rest of that half bag of popcorn. Because this is just insane what Sweden can do. The full jump side set to the open net Yahtzee bounce house from David hman. They're ridiculous.
I love the echo that ball made. And maybe a fan got a souvenir because that ball went into the stadium halfway up that first section. Unbelievable from Sweden. And again, you can't run these plays. You can't run this option pass system without good passing. And so credit to their coach, credit to their hard work they put in the offseason to be able to control these tough serves from one of the better serving teams we have.
And it has to be maddening for Brazil, who was that George and Andre's best set they've ever played? No, but that's at minimum a B+ to A- performance. And yet it was 21-17, and at no point did it feel as if Brazil had control of that set. It was just Sweden just stayed in the driver's seat and just pushed the pedal just when they needed to.
Yeah, it almost feels like this Swedish duo has kind of cracked the code of beach volleyball a little bit and found ways to score easy points. It's not easy what they do, but they find those easy points.
Excellent pickup from Oman. And what a swing that is. It's a backward step close. Kyle, where does he get this power?
It's all in the rotational force there from Oman. And Oman, you can't see in that replay, but he gives a little lean to the line for George. And I think George sees that and hits the cut shot right back in Oman's lap. Unbelievable.
Oman, again, he's everywhere. Where in the world is David Oman not? Ridiculous play from the defender.
That's set 3 meters off the net. Again, not a problem. You can see that shoulder for Oman. It's outside of his body. He contacts that ball high. He rotates that shoulder down to create all that force. Brilliant. 2-0 Sweden.
And where in the world is Jonathan Hellvig not? Huge block into the angle and a double up from Sweden.
Yeah, and Hellvig looking to get some of the action, saying, David, you're doing too much. It's my turn now. My turn.
Kyle, we're going to hypothetically throw you into the box with Brazil right now. So you're George. You've hit a cut shot. Pretty exquisite cut shot. Doug, put away. You've hit a competent line shot. Doug, put away. You try the swing angle. Blocked. What do you do? What do you tell George and Andre?
That's a good question. My first thought is, hey, George, let's run behind once, right? You have been running this same ball up and down to the right, which 9 out of 10 times you're going to score. But right now we're in a little bit of a hole. Let's create a different look. You go behind. I'll look for an option. If not, I'm going to put you up another good ball. You be aggressive. Stay aggressive on your swing. I'm there to cover you. Look for some high hands, because right now the shots just aren't quite dropping for George. And I wonder, Travis, he hit that one cut shot into the net. I don't know if that's in his mind still.
How long errors and blocks and digs can linger? And that's another element of the Swedish team that sort of goes underrated, as if anything about them goes underrated, is that even when they don't dig it, the fact that Oman is touching everything, that Hellvig's all over everything, it just gets into your head that what else do you have to do to score? Because right now there is nothing that is working for Brazil to score against, to me, the best defensive team in the world.
Yeah, that set from Andre just a little too tight, and we all know that George loves that set a couple meters off the net. He's not your standard player looking for that tight ball. George likes it off the net. Give him some room to work with. Here's him going behind.
And what a dig again from Oman. And my goodness, is that some heat in transition? George has tried it all. Oman has answers for it all.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Brazil, you kind of have to laugh a little bit and, change the mood, change the energy on your side. And here's one way to change energy is you see the side switch from George and Andre.
And there's left side George, high line, and now Brazil off the schneid. They have their first point of this second set.
Good change for Brazil. Usually it really takes a lot for this Brazilian team to switch sides, and when you're down 5-0, something's got to switch.
Excellent block from Andre, now getting involved. They have frozen Andre out. Tremendous timing on that swap block.
Yeah, that's what Andre does so well. As a blocker, it's not all about just getting your hands over the net. It's about reading the approach. You can't get lost on the ball too long when you're blocking, especially people go overhead. You want to watch that ball. Where's the ball? Where's it going? No, you got to pick up your attacker, looking for little clues. Are they slowing down? Are they speeding up? Andre showing us just how it's done.
Rare serve sent the way of Oman. And the way he just hangs and leaves his hand up there, it's sort of a punch into that deep seam.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, is he's up there already. He, like, looks and then punches and then snaps to where he sees space. But it's not just a little snap. It's with so much pace.
And our first look at the Andre option, that is a fantastic play for Brazil.
And the pass from George. George's technique on the pass. If you're a young player at home, I'm watching George Wanderlei pass. He holds that finish. He makes as long of contact with the ball as possible. Perfect option pass for his partner.
Excellent touch, excellent open from Andre, and an excellent shot. And here comes Brazil. A little bit of momentum now.
That's a good sign if you're Brazil. Again, it took one side switch to kind of reset for this Brazilian team. And now they're kind of back, scoring some points, earning some real points in transition.
A 5-0 start for Sweden, now flipped into a 4-1 run for Brazil. And more trouble here for Hellvig. It's going to be an ace serve, Brazil, and it is now a 1-point second set.
What a run here from Brazil. Talk about a momentum shift. And it starts with the service pressure, the middle to middle. Travis, we talked about it in the women's gold match, how effective that was, and here we're seeing it from Brazil.
Now, I don't know how many matches I've ever seen where both teams have used their timeouts 11 points into the set.
Yeah, that's both teams getting these leads so early. And you can't risk at this level, you cannot risk letting a lead balloon past 10-11, past the technical timeout, because teams will just run away. And when you're up 5 or 6 points, you know, Travis, there's such a different confidence level that you're playing with.
You know, when I watch Hellvig and Alman in the timeouts and I see the energy that they already have, I get a little bit alarmed that they're still drinking Red Bull.
You know, it's got a great taste. Maybe they just love the taste. A little carbonation, you know, wake up the senses.
And George, not fooled by the circus tricks, and then he puts it away in transition. Another point for Brazil.
And a little bit of emotion there from George and Andre. And, you know, sometimes they need to get pushed to the brink for that emotion to come out. We talked about how stoic they can be at times. You know, do they play their best volleyball that way? I'm not sure. That's a question for their coach.
A little bit of fire now for Brazil. 6-6 after going down 5-0. And that is a beautiful option swing from David Alma.
Better pass there from Hellvig, giving the opportunity. The goal again of these option passes is to pass so your partner can set and hit. Do either. Let them decide. You don't want to force anything.
Excellent fill in the angle from Alman. And what a swing down the seam that was from Alman. His ability to just pop up with no step close and still harness that amount of power is remarkable.
I'm not sure if Andre got stuck at the net. Maybe got a little sand shark. And I don't know if he blocked there, Travis. Did you see?
Didn't see much there. I saw George sort of floating into the seam and almost had the chicken wing dig, but certainly a miscommunication seemed to have happened on the defensive end. And that's a wonderful high line from George. When he comes out of the middle like that and gives himself just an extra feet of space to hit that high line fast, it's so difficult to stop.
I was thinking the exact same. He came inside a little bit, and I was like, oh, he's going to chip this one line. nobody home. Excellent touch from George Wanderley.
Excellent turn down the line from Hellvig, challenging the defense of George. Typically not the wisest of ideas, but Hellvig, as you mentioned, Kyle, has got that extra pop.
Yeah, he's been hitting the weight room. Credit to his training staff. I'm sure this Swedish pair is dialed in on their diet and their weight lifting, strength training, and it is paying off.
Trouble in the pass here for George. Big chance for Sweden to extend the lead to 3, and Andre again. The timing on the SWAT block is magnificent.
And I don't know what he's seeing. Is he seeing Hellvig in just a second early there underneath that ball? But his timing, his eye work right now is so good.
He's been doing it all week long out here in Tepic. Had 8 blocks in their semifinal last night. He was the main reason that they were able to win. And then there's just David Almont, just so smooth with that on two.
Hellvig putting it up on a silver platter that time for David Almont.
Excellent seam serve, handled well from George. Again out of the middle, again going line. This time Oman's on it. Can't quite control it, but still, he did the full length of the court and still almost got the lefty scoop.
A really good read there from Oman, just firing it at Hellvig, not able to get another chance at it.
And how about that? You know, it's not too often I can say I've seen something that I haven't seen before from Sweden, and I've never seen the straight up sideways no-looky cookie from Oman.
Man, oh man, Travis, he's just all in the angle, facing angle, and then somehow just slices that ball back towards the line.
Line block is the call for Hellvig. Oman, the one-handed stab is just ridiculously perfect. Hellvig had to go. Again, a line block is shown. And Andre just sneaks that one under the right hand of Jonathan Hellvig, and we go into the technical timeout with Brazil trailing Sweden 10-11. Now, while the score, Kyle, is just 1 point, it almost feels as if Sweden's up 3 or 4.
Yeah, they've kind of come back and continue to put the pressure again. The option working again for Sweden. There you see back and forth, 7-8. There was a 2-point run from Sweden, and I think that's the one momentum shift that it feels like in favor of Sweden. But they're just playing really smooth, really dialed back in here.
The maturity of Sweden, you know, there's something to be said. There are many things to be said about their physical abilities and their ball control and the option and the jump setting and the endurance to keep doing it. But it is their maturity and poise at just 22 years old to make 6 straight finals. It's incredible consistency, especially when you go back to think, you know, the dumb stuff you were doing when you were 22, and then you look at these guys, and it's just amazing.
Very dumb stuff that I was doing at 22. And we talked about the lack of discrepancy in the elite teams in the qualifier and in the main draw. And Hellvig and Almond, they're still winning, even though they're seeing all these different teams. They're still getting to the top. So unbelievable.
And Andre, again, he's been on the SWAT blocks with the shots, and that is a fantastic move into the angle.
Pressing all over that angle, taking up all the airspace for Hellvig. Look at that press. Textbook stuff there from Andre.
Bronze medalists, Caro Salgado and Barbara Seychelles, stoked for that block, and now it is Brazil with their first lead of this second set at 12-11.
And I like that shot there from Jonathan Hellvig. It is the right shot. He only misses it by a few centimeters. Got to keep trusting it.
And the rare error from David Allman. There are some cracks. We have blown through the technical timeout. Both teams have called their timeouts, so there will be no more stoppages. Any ruts have to be figured out on court. Tremendous patience in the pocket from George. And the transition setting from Andre. George knows it immediately, points to his partner, waves to the crowd.
And ovation is in accord here for Brazil. Look at that push through from George Wanderlei, but it's the transition set. He's looking for some love from this hometown squad in Mexico.
4-0 run, 5-0 run rather, for Brazil. The first time we've seen Sweden suffer a big run in this entire tournament. And another one! Look at that right-handed block from Andre Loyola.
And Loyola bringing out the Mutombo finger wave. He says, no, 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 not in here, Mr. Hellvig. Look at this, he's trying to go line the no look, but Andre Loyola all over it, Travis.
Showing shades reminiscent of last night's semifinal against Cuba, where Andre just collected his data and went into the computer and he just figured it out. And then there's just no answer for that from David Allman, but the damage has been done. Brazil with a 3-point edge and looking comfy. And there's Jonathan Hellvig. Not sure if he even got a hand on it. Either way, the formidable press forces an error.
Yeah, Hellvig was all in the airspace there of George Wanderlei. Wanderlei definitely feeling him. And again, that set might be a good set for your normal player who likes that ball a meter, a foot from the net. But George Wanderlei likes it a little bit more off for some more room to work with.
And George, excellent calm response with the high line.
Again, George continuing to pass the ball perfectly in front of him. There's so much to be said about passing that ball in front of you. It gives you a better look, gives you a better read of the defense.
Continues to mix up the pace and location of his jump serves. And Jonathan Hellvig, that is a vicious swing down the seam.
That one's up the middle, and that's a good changeup, right, for Hellvig. He doesn't need to go sharp. He's trusting that middle. He hasn't swung in the middle too often. Loyola a little out of position there.
A towering set for George and a phenomenal pickup from Allman and Hellvig. No hesitation with the on-two kill.
You talked about it before, Travis, how low David Allman stays. Look at that. Two hands, not one. He said, I'm going with two, and puts up a perfect option dig for his partner, who puts it down.
Excellent serve down the line. Well handled from George. And again, stays low is Allman. He's frustrated because he's frustrated with anything that he doesn't have a perfect dig on.
Yeah, when you're as good as David Allman, you touch everything. You expect to get everything, and he was there in time. Just that ball ricocheting, going into the sand. Good side out from George and Andre.
One more earned point should set Brazil clear. They will not have it just yet.
There's the maturity and the growth from this Swedish pair. He could have hammered that into the angle, might have found the block of Andre, or hammered it back towards the line. George sitting there waiting, instead calmly over the top.
A little bit of trouble here for Brazil. Andre hasn't been tested in quite some time, and he passes the test a touch off Hellvig, and Allman, he can't believe it.
And, you know, credit to Andre. That's a tough ball to dig. I don't know if you're getting that one very often. right up the middle where you least expect it. Goes Andre Loyola.
George now switching to a float. And the field goal is good. It's only worth 1 in beach volleyball. In America, we like field goals worth 3.
I like this swing, though, from Hellvig because it's high, right? He goes line, but it's high. He doesn't try to go short line where he got blocked last time from Andre. Sweden down 1 here on the side switch, Trav.
And it's been fun to watch Hellvig because he had the sharp line available last night against Nils Ehlers, and it was tool swing after tool swing after tool swing, and now Andre sealed it, and Hellvig readapted, going more seam with it. That is a punishing swing from Andre. A little bit of venom on that line turn.
Venom from the arm and venom from the eyes. I don't know if you saw that extra look there from Andre. Kind of has
just a little extra linger from Andre.
Exactly. He's out to kill right now with these swings, up 19-17.
Oh, the jump bump set fully across the court. Why not? Why not at 19-17?
You know, if you're on Instagram and you follow this Swedish pair, you've seen them do practice games where they have to jump bump or jump set every single touch. So these plays, they're practiced. They are, I wouldn't want to say routine, but it's something they are very familiar with.
Pressure now back on George. Has had a lot of success operating out of the middle, and he continues to find success operating out of the middle.
It's as if George knew the 4 block was coming there, and he had to swing and speed line. He's been brought to the middle of the court. He's been shooting line. He's hit the baby cut. He's shot line. He's scored. That time, he knows he's got to bring pace. He does.
And Hellvig now going back to that line turn, finding the right hand of Andre Loyola, and they will have to earn a point to send this into overtime. They have tested George. They have tested Andre. And George passes the test. It seems like an eternity ago that Sweden was up 5-0 at the start of that second set as Brazil refound the form that got them to this gold medal match, wins the second set 21-19, and surprise, 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 Cal friend, we're going 3.
And lucky for you, I did pop that extra bag of popcorn that rested at half. So I'm set. I'm ready to go here for set number 3. And the qualifier team, George and Andre, pushing this 1 to 3. It's such a rude, it's an insult, I think, Travis, to even say that they are a qualifier team, but in this event, they came through the qualifier.
Just the Cinderella darlings, George and Andre, coming off a gold medal in Sakurima, 9th place. What's crazy, you know, the results, if you just look at the on-paper results, they can really belie how well a team is playing. Is George and Andre, they took a 9th in Guadalajara, but who'd they lose to? Evandro and Arthur, the gold medalists in Recife. It's just the weird ways sometimes matchups can go, and they lost deep in the 3rd set. And so George and Andre came off, quote-unquote, a disappointing finish, then had to go in the qualifier and back in this gold medal match. And it might seem, again, on paper that, you know, what are these qualifier guys doing in the finals? But this is one of the best teams in the world, and they're showing it.
And, you know, possibly something to be said. I don't even know if these athletes think about it, but is there some pride when you come from the qualifier, or is it just standard operating procedure?
You know, at some point I wonder, you never want to be in the qualifier. Being straight into the main draw, I mean, that's like being upgraded from economy to first class on an international flight. But because it's only 2 matches, you're not going to be all that fatigued. And I do think that teams coming out of the qualifier, especially teams who have already proven that they can win in the Elite 16, they come with an extra edge. They felt out the arena. They're in a rhythm. They've got whatever kinks out of the system, and they come in flying.
I agree. Oh, and look at that save as Oman pushing it through the big block of Andre Loyola.
And the body control of Sweden to stay out of the net here, Roman, and the body control for Andre just to give George a chance at it. Oh, excellent hang time from Hellvig. But it is the covering. Covering is so important, especially at the highest level with how physical the blockers are, and that saves a point for Brazil.
The setter is the first person to know if that ball is too tight, if there's going to be a need to cover. And so if you're late to doing that, then you are not engaged. Not the case here for Brazil.
Huge option. What a dig that is from George. And that forces the second attempt and the error for Jonathan Hellvig. The chicken wing from George.
It's like George popped out of nowhere. Surprise chicken wing dig with control. It wasn't like it was chicken wing way out of bounds. No, with control. Gives himself another chance in Sweden with the error.
Oh, man. He ain't scared. Dug once, dig me again.
It's a sign of a great team when you can trust what you do so well. You've already put in all the work, all the practice, all the reps. You've done it. Now you just get to go out and have fun and trust all that hard work that you put in, and that's why these boys option like no one else.
Excellent dig from Allman, running that fast out to the pin, and he just misses it wide, and he knew it immediately.
Knew it immediately, tried to kick the line out in jest, but that is not going to help because that one's still too wide. But good sign there for Sweden, getting a dig on the cut shot. I'm sure David Allman going to turn that one next time.
Excellent high angle swing from Jonathan Hellvig, just taking the hands of Andre and using them.
Yeah, and it's a good change for Hellvig. We saw some swings into the cross court that Andre gobbled up. This time it's high and deep. It's not sharp. And to the angle, it's high. Good change from Hellvig.
Perfect timing on the move from Sweden. An excellent swing into the angle from Oman. He erred once in transition. He will not err again.
Look at this. Shoulders facing the other direction, and this swing, oh, it gets ricocheted. That's what it looked like. I was wondering why George wasn't able to collect that one, and it ricochets off the block. Difficult ball for George.
Difficult serve down the line. Set is a bit tight, and how in the world just does George do that? It's almost like he underhands it dinner platter style and gets it to go.
You know, it's yeah, not your standard cut shot, right? It's not your high snap. It's almost as if he baits the blocker into coming first, and then he decides late to just, like you said, the platter, serving up the cut shot platter.
And that's not right. Stop it. That's just not right, David Allman.
That's a high pass, Travis. And look at this step close out from about 4 meters off the net. No big deal for David Allman.
And if you're Brazil, you got to look at that and think that percentage-wise, that's one of the hardest percentage swings to hit. You have to leave it. Delay angle block is the call on George. And down the line he goes. Allman doubling up, doing a little free safety.
Yeah, exactly. The free safety. And he's earned the right to pretty much do whatever he wants in the backcourt with some limitations. But that swing, though, from George, everything into the angle at the very last second, heat down the line.
Jump set, relatively open net swing for David Allman. Easy peasy, calm as you like.
Oh, is this set just getting near the top of the antenna? No problem for David Allman. I'll just snap it down.
Neither team able to find much defensively thus far in the third set. It's always a question of who will crack the code first. And George sends it wide. Andre, pardon me, sends it wide. No touch. So Andre is the first to crack as Sweden takes the lead 7-6.
And if you're Andre, okay, not a problem. Good aggressive swing. You barely missed that open spot into the cross court. Continue doing what you're doing.
Nothing but line blocks for Sweden. Back to Andre running his patented set out by the pin and just glancing off the hands of Hellvig.
Good change up there from Andre. Really good set from George. Spacing, like you said, that set out wide, working to perfection.
Fearless. Fearless is David Alman, continuing to option and option and option some more.
You know, it's funny because on that pass, it seems as if Oman doesn't really see the block. It's over his shoulder. I don't think he can possibly see that back towards the line, and yet he still trusts it. The muscle memory is there. It's really impressive, Travis.
When you have a swing as borderline indefensible as that option line turn from Oman, I think no matter what you see or don't see, you just hit it until someone proves that they can stop it. And no one outside of a young man named Andy Mole has been able to stop it.
How about that creativity there? Andre, little lefty poke, I think, or possibly, no, just a little cut, high line, excuse me. Here we see with the left.
And I love seeing them all players playing at the top of the antenna. That's about 11 feet out of deep sand. And again, Hellvig finding the top of the fingers of Andre. There's a little look at our silver medalist, Raisa Schoon, who will join her on the podium with silver as well. Cover, cover, cover some more from Brazil, and you can't cover that one from Jonathan Hellvig. You cover him once, you cover him twice. You cannot cover him thrice.
That's just hard work up at the net and discipline, Travis. The timing, the patience up at the net. Look at the shuffle. He's all over. What else are you going to throw at him, Brazil?
A 2-point lead now for Sweden as Brazil will take a timeout. This is the biggest edge we have seen for either team in this third set. Now, we have seen a 5-0 lead get washed away in a hurry. No lead is safe. We'll say it over and over and over again. What does Brazil need to do to get back in this match?
Well, what they need to do is continue to pass the ball great and keep being aggressive. They've been swinging. The high line gets touched there from George Wanderlei. I'm not saying George don't shoot because he's so effective, but the last time they got into this rut, it took him about 5 plays before George went behind on that side out, and then they ended up switching sides. So maybe a little bit of movement from this standard up and down team, but make sure we're covering, keep staying aggressive. Those high deep swings we're working for this Brazilian squad.
Runs must be limited, and Brazil needs to stop this run right now from Sweden. Line blocks are the call. Oh my goodness, that dig is just insane. Insane from David Alman.
Oh, stop it, David Alman. Just stop it with that dig. And I love the option, right? We haven't seen too many options from Brazil. George was going to go behind there. I like that movement, but it doesn't matter. It's David Alman all over the court.
It was the right swing from Andre. It was the right play. It was just astounding defense from Alman. Here's a little bit more trouble for Brazil. Alman all over the cut shot. And here comes the circus tricks, the wide open angle for David Alman. So frustrating to play this Swedish team.
David Alman barely got to that cut shot, Travis. He's still on the ground and then still somehow runs behind with tempo and so much space over there. When you run that quick tempo, sometimes you get a tell from the defense. They have to adjust sooner than later. Vision from Oman. He scores 12-8. Sweden on a bit of a run.
Good response from George, but you have to wonder, is it too little too late? As Brazil will now need a sizable run to get back into this third set.
Wait a second. Too little too late? I think you just said no, lead is safe, Travis. All right, so anything can happen here in this set to 15. Don't count Brazil out just yet.
Excellent timing off the block from Andre, and there it is, and here comes Brazil, Kyle.
Soft touch from Andre. That is what generates this play. And then on the full layout dig, that's a perfect set. That is so difficult to do from George Wanderlei. Momentum pushing you, not easy.
High loopy set, a little bit too far outside, no problem for Johnny Hellvig.
Yeah, it's funny, that set, like you said, a little too far outside. I don't think that's exactly where Hellvig wanted it, and that is not where Andre Loyola lined up. And I think that's why Hellvig scores, because it gets pushed wider. He waits for it to pass his shoulder, swing fast line, he gets the score.
And that is well outside the antenna, and Hellvig gets it off Andre's foot.
I had a feeling Andre Loyola was going to try and bang angle. He loves this angle swing from outside because he has that wrap. And then, how about that press? Jonathan Hellvig with his biggest block of this match.
And that'll bring us to our first match point for Sweden, going for back-to-back gold medals here in Tepic. And they're going to have it. Jonathan Hellvig, block to finish it. Sweden, David Allman and Jonathan Hellvig making their second straight final of this 2024 season and winning their first gold medal of this 2024